We're back on another art adventure. In case you didn't see the last video, we're attempting to make our own Steam capsule art. We hired a Steam capsule artist from Fiverr, and the first sketch we received back gave us mobile game vibes. We paused the job until I could sketch a character with some poses for our artist to reference.
Abner, nobody, don't eat the cable.
We're making this angel character that's kind of a cross between an angel and a pileated woodpecker. I deleted the old pose and traced our hand-drawn sketch's figure. The original design is less curvy, since I'd imagine that being heavyset would make it difficult to fly. No one tells you how hard it is to produce good line work. Even with brush stabilization, I'd say the line work is probably the most difficult part of any piece I've done so far. I started making the wing from our hand-drawn sketch. As soon as I brought in the woodpecker reference image, I realized that we were going to need to start from scratch to create accurate wings. Now that I look at this bird a bit closer, I see that its wing is really just its arm. It's literally a shoulder, arm, and forearm with no hand. So when I draw this angel wing, I've got to keep in mind that it's just another arm, complete with shoulders, shoulder blades, and the works. This wing design is actually wrong and will likely get redone. My reference image did not reveal the true nature of how wings are held together. If you look at the back of a bird, there are multiple rows of smaller feathers to support the larger feathers. These wings definitely won't make the cut, but we'll finish drawing them anyways. There was an art study where two groups of students made pots. One group was instructed to make as many pots as possible, focusing on quantity over quality. The other group was instructed to make the perfect pot. At the end of the experiment, the group that made as many pots as possible could produce the better pot. The iterative process of producing art and getting feedback will make you a better artist. So we're not going to waste any time getting attached to any of this art. So if you're trying to become an artist, which I'm not, make many pots, create lots of art, and don't get too attached to anything. Here's my proof that this works. This is the first digital artwork I ever made back in 2018. And this is the last piece of art I made yesterday. Mind you, I'm not an artist. I've been mostly working odd jobs and programming for the last 5 years. Not only do you gain quality through the iterative process, but speed improves as well. Shading is probably the easiest part. I'd recommend using a pixel brush so you don't get these weird artifacts when trying to flood fill areas. Detailing these areas with these heavy black lines is probably a mistake. This is so difficult, and it just looks awful. If anyone knows of a way to make clean line art, please share your godlike knowledge with us. This is about the time where I had to reconfigure my favorites in Krita. All of the brushes in my favorites were garbage and needed to be replaced. If anyone out there uses Krita, I'd love to know what brushes you use. I needed to start painting the skin. Still not too difficult if you're doing a two-tone anime style drawing. Next, we were onto the hair. My wife sent me this reference photo. It's AI generated for sure, because her collarbone would have to be broken for it to be so out of place. But we don't want her face, we want her hair. And so it was time for me to learn to make curly hair. It took some time to figure out where the dark lines need to be. The answer is mostly on the outside of the character. I felt like I made good progress and decided to take a break. It's easy to edit videos for 8 hours or code for 12, but damn, it's hard to draw for 8 hours. My wife and I went out for some sunshine to get inspired.
Very consistent.
This new putter I bought is insane. It's just a putter, and I don't seem to have any trouble throwing it 300 feet.
Damn. Next step. I don't want to do.
This was also a good chance to get some feedback. My unfinished character was promptly roasted, being compared to Mekamaru from Jujutsu Kaisen, and her fingers are definitely AI generated. So now that I've gotten a good break and some feedback to work off of, it's back to the drawing board. One of the sketches had boots that were covered in feathers, which I thought was pretty cool. Realistically, I don't believe an angel would wear boots because it would only weigh her down, making it more difficult to fly. So the iteration after this one ditched the boots. People play video games to escape reality, so there's no need to be realistic with their character designs. I learned that I should keep the black lines out of the detailed areas like fur, feathers, and hair. It just looks better in my opinion. You get a better sense of the volume of an object by removing the line art. Faces. The most diabolical thing to try to get right, followed by hands. I don't struggle too much with hands, faces are definitely my kryptonite. After failing to make any progress on my own, it was time to drag in a reference. I didn't immediately notice how crooked her eyes were, but I caught on pretty quickly. If you make that mistake, it's pretty easy to fix. In Krita, you can literally move multiple layers at the same time. The same is true for rescaling multiple layers. We're gonna try to make her eyes like Gojo's from Jujutsu Kaisen. Gojo's small pupils make him look a little crazy, so we're gonna ignore that feature. The simplicity of anime characters make them pretty easy to draw. This face wasn't too challenging. It's time to fix that blasted line work. At least just the big things that assaulted my eyes every time I zoomed out. Now to really focus on the eyes. Delete all those hairlines I made earlier. Shade in the skin. If you don't want ugly lines in your shading, this freehand brush tool is a must for making smooth shapes. I didn't use it on this character, but I did use it on the next one. Just resize this disproportionately small head and finish shading the character. Making the hair curls was a fun and interesting process. I made this hair like 8 years ago and I have no idea how I did it. Maybe I can come back to this later and add my lost art techniques to my newer characters. Now that a simple character model is complete, I can send this off to our Fiverr artist and see if we can lead him in the right direction. Anyways, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. If you want to share your expertise, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're interested in seeing what's coming up next, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.